Even after an appeals court ruling, the Rowan County Clerk isn't giving up her fight. Her office is still refusing to issue marriage licenses.
How did a drone end up crash landing on top of Lexington's tallest building?
I've never in my life hated something so bad. I hate it.
How a Lexington mother is trying to save lives after heroin took her son's life.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News at 6.
Good evening to you. Her lawyers now say she plans to take her fight all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court. Tonight, Rowan County Clerk Kim Davis's office still won't issue marriage licenses. Yesterday, a federal appeals court upheld a judge's order that told Davis to issue the marriage licenses. So more couples showed up at the clerk's office today trying to get a license, but were turned away again. Sam Smith has the latest on the legal battle in our top story at 6.
James Yates and William Smith Jr. were turned away when trying to get a marriage license from the Rowan County Clerk. It was the third time it's happened to him since the Supreme Court's ruling came down.
They don't care about Indian people. It's just purely they don't like gays, they don't want them to get married. Do her job or step in.
Clerk Kim Davis has denied all couples from getting licenses. She's in a lawsuit because of it. She says same-sex marriage is against her religious beliefs.
There's no reason for her to be using her religious beliefs and elected official job to be keeping people from their constitutional rights.
U.S. District Judge David Bunning ordered Davis to issue licenses. He delayed that ruling until August 31st or until the 6th Circuit Court of Appeals issued a ruling. Well, that ruling came down yesterday, denying her appeal. Despite the ruling, the office will not issue a marriage license. They say the order is still delayed until the 31st. The Liberty Counsel represents Davis. They plan on petitioning the Supreme Court to extend the delay. Protesters outside the courthouse today want to see this resolved.
They're running out of options, and all it does is prolong the agony for the couples that want to get married.
In Rowan County, Sam Smith, WKYT.
Also, the clerk's office was shut down for an hour today because workers say computers needed to be upgraded. Davis's attorneys plan to file an emergency petition with the Supreme Court. Those requests are made to one justice. For Davis, it would end up with Justice Kagan, who voted to legalize same-sex marriage nationwide. Kagan is assigned to consider petitions from the appeals court district that includes Kentucky. There will not be a hearing or arguments in court. If Justice Kagan denies Davis's request, it's not over. Davis could move down the list of other justices, hoping that one of them would intervene. Another Kentucky county clerk who is not issuing marriage licenses is now riding a bike across the state to show support for Kim Davis. Casey County Clerk Casey Davis started his bike ride in Pikeville this morning. He plans to ride all the way to Paducah during the next 10 days.
There is a woman that is unjustly in danger of being fined or going to jail. She has done nothing wrong. She has tried to live as a Christian and do her job to the best of her abilities.
Casey Davis hopes his bike ride will draw attention to Kim Davis's fight. The two are not related.
New tonight, a wanted man from Madison County has been arrested in New Hampshire. The U.S. Marshals say they found 47-year-old Christopher Wade this morning at a hotel in Concord, New Hampshire. Investigators say Wade raped a child in Madison County over a period of 10 years. A warrant had been obtained for Wade out of Madison County. Investigators say he had been living and working in Concord recently. People who knew him tell us he was a hard worker and driven to succeed. Tonight, they're remembering a U.S. Air Force captain from Lexington who died in Afghanistan. The military says 27-year-old Captain Matthew Rowland was one of 2 service members shot and killed at a vehicle checkpoint. Today, Kristen Kennedy talked to teachers at Lexington Catholic High School, where Rowland graduated.
Before there was a Captain Matthew Rowland, there was a Matt Rowland. He walked the halls of Lexington Catholic High School, and from talking to his former teachers, you can tell the National Honor Society student was a role model in the classroom and on the cross-country course.
Matt was a great kid. He was a born leader. He was a hard worker. He was really driven to succeed.
Cross-country coach Tim Wiesenhahn remembers him well.
He gave his all the time. He always gave best effort. He was respectful. He was diligent. All the things that make you successful, Matt knew how to do. He's also very kind, which I don't think is we talk about enough. Matt was a kind guy. Never had a mean word to say about anybody. So he's just an outstanding young man, and it's really unbelievable what has happened.
Teachers told us that Rowland had always planned to go into the service. Carrie Roberts even wrote a recommendation letter for him.
There's a certain kind of kid that wants to. He was really a quiet kid, but there was a passion in him, and you knew that he was going to do something special, and that he wanted to be important and do something great.
Roberts said his desire to attend the U.S. Air Force Academy was undeniable. He graduated from the academy in 2010. He deployed 3 times in his 5 years of service. In Lexington, Kristen Kennedy, WKYT.
Governor Beshear has ordered flags to be lowered to half-staff on the day of Captain Rowland's burial. Funeral arrangements are still pending.
An unusual discovery on the top of Lexington's tallest building. A drone crash-landed on the Fifth Third building downtown. So, how'd the drone end up there? As WKYT Washington correspondent Kelly Meyer tells us new at 6, it has some Lexington city leaders asking questions.
The Fifth Third Bank building here in downtown Lexington stands at about 400 feet tall. Now that's the maximum limit for an unmanned drone to fly. But workers here say that didn't stop someone from flying their drone right above the building, where it came crashing down on the roof. We're told it happened around midday Saturday. Workers say the operator fessed up right away. He went inside to the security desk and asked to go up to the roof to get it, but he wasn't allowed to do so. Here are some photos of the drone on the roof. Workers immediately called the FAA and alerted them to what happened. The news came as a shock to Councilmember Richard Maloney, who's been pushing for education of drone use and was more concerned about its proximity to the Bluegrass Airport, only about 6 miles away from where the drone hit.
It's going to be an issue. The numbers of drones are going way up, and being that close to the airport, being on the airport board, I have concern. Being close to the prison, I have concern. So I think it's a great time to put all this together. And
Maloney tells us he plans on forming a committee that will educate people on drone use, what is and is not allowed. As far as the crash from Saturday, the FAA tells us they're still investigating the incident, but have contacted the operator. Reporting in Lexington, I'm Kelly Meyer, WKYT.
In the next legislative session, Kentucky lawmakers will consider a bill designed to regulate the use of unmanned aircrafts like drones. No change in the weather today as it continues to feel more like fall than summer. Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey has an early look at the forecast. Chris?
Yeah, we're looking good again out there today, Sam. Those temperatures stuck in the 70s. You got the low humidity, the mix of sun and clouds. I know it's basically a carbon copy of every day so far this week. I like when the record that is broken is stuck on a repeat performer like this stuff outside. Look at our live sky cam weather garden and those clouds and sunshine over top of us. That mix of clouds and sun giving us gorgeous weather yet again across parts of central and eastern Kentucky. That live sky cam again for most areas with temperatures that are into the 70s as of right now. Mid 70s showing up across many areas of central and eastern Kentucky. 75 into Richmond, 73 for folks around the Mount Sterling area. Moorhead checking in at 75. Let's take you through the evening with the hour-by-hour forecast. Those numbers dropping into the upper 50s to low 60s as we head into tomorrow morning. A lot of low 50s that will begin to show up as well. Partly cloudy skies through the day tomorrow. Temperatures into the upper 70s, flirting with 80 degrees. High school football fans, if you like last week's weather, you're going to like what we have out there tomorrow evening. Defender, again, a clean sweep as of now. A little bit of high cloud cover showing up across northern parts of the area. We'll come back in just a little bit and talk about how the threat for thunderstorms moves back in for the weekend. That's in a few.
Chris, thank you. They hope it will help save lives and stop the cycle of addiction. On Saturday, hundreds of people will gather for an event in Lexington as part of International Overdose Awareness Day. As Miranda Combs tells us, one woman will be there in honor of her son who died of a heroin overdose.
Maybe it was a Monday or Tuesday.
These posters are worn from being held. They've been carried for miles on walks on a mission to tell her son's story.
It was 8:30 in the morning. The doctor comes in and introduces himself and tells me that Seth has passed away from a heroin overdose.
That was December 3rd of last year.
He was a good kid. He really was.
Tanya Meeks had no idea her boy was on heroin. She didn't even know much about the drug.
Just caught me by surprise.
But now its deadly consequences consume her life.
I've never in my life hated something so bad. I hate it.
19-year-old Seth Wasilkowski is one of the 108 overdose deaths from last year.
He was a young kid.
This year's numbers aren't trending any better.
I don't think he knew exactly what he was getting himself into.
As of mid-July, there have been 82 overdose deaths in Fayette County.
I feel like I need revenge. Heroin took my child. And so the only way I can get that revenge is to arm my community with knowledge.
And I've been blessed just to not have a lot of shame about it.
And that brings us here to Jacobson Park in Lexington. This mother didn't lose her son, but she came close.
This is not something that if this wasn't personal to me, I would wake up in the morning and think about it all day long.
Her son is now almost 2 years in recovery from a heroin addiction. We've been following his journey for the past year. He's now an advocate for those dealing with addiction.
What scares me is we've taken such great measures to try to counteract overdose, and the numbers continue to grow. I think what it says is we have a scourge. I mean, we have a serious problem.
So his mother and others have organized an event to talk about something they say so many still won't.
It's about allowing families who have had to keep their loved ones' deaths kind of under wraps a chance to know that this community grieves with them.
The event will be held at Jacobson Park like last year's. They hope this hill will be covered with hundreds of people, not only those touched by addiction, but those that haven't been.
And there's just not enough people who are willing to stand up and say, me too.
There will be speakers, resources for recovery, and a silent walk to remember those that have died, like Seth.
It sucks for me, but you know, he's in a better place than I'll ever be. And that's the only thing that gives me any kind of peace.
And Saturday's event will also have medical professionals there to hand out prescriptions for Narcan. Now, that's the drug that will reverse the effects of a heroin overdose.
Miranda, it is so hard hearing those numbers of overdose deaths and knowing where we're already at in this year.
It is. It's frightening. And also another frightening statistic is fentanyl, which is a drug that we've covered over the summer, is actually higher in the amount of overdose deaths now than heroin. So we just can't seem to get a handle on it.
Story that we will continue to cover. Miranda, thank you.
Thank you, Miranda. A downtown Lexington street has received a makeover just in time for the Breeders' Cup. Next, what changes you'll notice there.
And then Kroger has unveiled a new way to shop for groceries, and the store hopes it will help you save some time.